I'm Dr. Kristy Mulkey with 240 Tutoring. In this video, I'm going to answer the following questions for you. How hard is the General Knowledge Test, or GKT? How do you pass the GKT? Where do you find the best study guides and resources for the GKT? How do you study for the GKT? And when and how much should you study for the GKT? Whew, that's a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive into it. How hard is the General Knowledge Test? The FTCE General Knowledge Test consists of content split into 4 subtests. First, English language skills, reading, mathematics, and then last, the essay. You can see the approximate number of questions and time limits for each subtest here. This general knowledge test is intended to measure the content knowledge necessary to begin a teaching career in the state of Florida. So you would think the GKT has to be hard since it covers so much, right? Well, in simple terms, yes. Only about 61% of test takers pass the GKT on their first attempt. Yikes! The general knowledge test is challenging, but stay tuned because we're going to give you all the resources you need to pass this exam. How do you pass the general knowledge test? Well, to pass the multiple choice subtest, English language skills, or ELS, reading, and math, you need a scaled score of at least 200 on each to pass. For the ELS subtest, this means that you need to answer about 70% of the questions correctly. That's about 28 out of the 40 questions. For the reading subtest, you need to answer 75% of the questions correctly. And that's about 30 of the 40 questions. Lastly, for the math subtest, you need to answer 72% of the questions correctly. That's about 29 of the 40 questions. Your essay will be graded by 2 scores. To pass the essay subtest, you will need to score 8 out of the 12 points. And by the way, writing essays doesn't have to be scary, guys. Within 240 Tutoring's General Knowledge Test Study Guide, there is a detailed overview and strategy for responding to constructed response questions or essays. Where do you find the best study guides and resources for the General Knowledge Test? Knowing which resources are trustworthy can be tricky. You want to make sure the information you're studying and reading is coming from a reliable source. Let's look at where to find resources that you can trust. Information from the Florida Teaching Certification Examinations, or FTCE website, is factual information you can definitely trust. Specific test information, registration details, and more can be found on that FTEC website. The FTCE website also offers preparation resources like sample test questions to help you get ready for your GKT exam. 240 Tutoring is another place to find reliable resources and study materials. Do you like free resources? Well, of course, everyone does. 240 Tutoring offers a free ultimate guide and practice test for the general knowledge test. You can find them along with other free resources at 240tutoring.com/FTCE-prep. Also, be sure to check out our YouTube channel as we post FTCE videos frequently. My GKT Math Practice Test series is great guided practice in answering real general knowledge math questions. For a comprehensive study guide with a diagnostic test, study material, videos, flashcards, quizzes, and full-length practice tests, check out 240 Tutoring's General Knowledge Test Study Guide. With a 240 Tutoring subscription, you get access to every FTCE study guide we have and a pass guarantee. How awesome is that? If you score a 90% on your full-length practice test and then fail your actual exam, then you are entitled to a refund of up to 2 months of your subscription. Now you can subscribe to our GKT study guide at 240tutoring.com/FTCE. Now that you have gathered your resources to prepare for your GKT, let's talk about actually studying. How do you study for the General Knowledge test? You want to first start by taking a diagnostic or practice test. This will help you see what content you need to study more. 240 Tutoring has a diagnostic test included in the GKT study guide. The FTCE website also has a competency mapping activity to help you develop a study plan based on the courses you have taken in your teacher prep program. Once you have taken a diagnostic exam and developed a study plan, you are ready to dive into the study material. When and how much should you study for the General Knowledge test? Everyone is different and has different study needs. Your diagnostic test results will guide the development of your study plan. If you have several areas of weakness, you may need to study longer and more frequently. On average, we see people take 1 to 3 months to prepare for the GKT. But again, your preparation needs are unique to you. Spend the time developing a realistic study plan and then stick to it. Are you crunched for time? Do you only have a few days to study for the GKT? If so, be sure to check out my video on effective cramming over on YouTube. I hope I've answered all of your questions about preparing and passing the General Knowledge test. Again, I'm Dr. Kristy Mulkey with 240 Tutoring, and I wish you the best of luck.